SEC on ESPN. The opening week of conference play continues at the Lloyd Noble Center, where they are jumping for joy to watch two of the hottest teams in the country. The 8th-ranked Oklahoma Sooners are winners of 12 straight games and are the second highest scoring team in the country. This afternoon, they host the Mississippi State Bulldogs, who themselves have won 10 straight, with both teams coming off SEC opening wins on New Year's Day. Great to be paired up with Brendan Manser once again. I'm Chad McKee. Oklahoma down in College Station. Impressive opening game SEC win against Texas A&M. That same day, a win over Auburn at home for Mississippi State. What'd you think of these two teams in their openers?
Well, for Oklahoma, obviously, when you think of them, you think of the offensive end of the floor. Elite, maybe the best offense in the country. Their transition, but they're also terrific in the half court. Great combination between Reagan Beers and then Aaliyah Chavez out front. But Chad, it was the defensive end for Oklahoma. I think we're not talking enough about how good they are there. Anytime you go on the road and hold an SEC opponent to 50 points and 26% field goal shooting, you have something. This Oklahoma team is complete and know how to play both ends of the floor.
Auburn was the victim of Mississippi State, 22 points. Madison Francis' fourth double-double of the year. What did you like about what the Bulldogs did?
Well, obviously, Trayana Crisp had a terrific second half. Francis, a sensational freshman we get to see today. But Mississippi State beat Auburn with toughness. And like Oklahoma, the defensive end of the floor is what impressed me. Obviously, they're terrific on the glass. They had a plus 22 advantage. 16 offensive rebounds also against Auburn. That has to come into play today for Mississippi State to put themselves in position to pull off an upset here in Norman.
Big game feel at the Lloyd Noble Center. Fans on their feet to watch NCAA tournament teams of the season ago. There's Reagan Beers, the Oklahoma All-American. Sooners' lone loss came in their second game of the year against UCLA. Mississippi State's lone loss to Texas Tech as we are underway. Oklahoma gets the opening look. Man-to-man defense started for Sam Purcell and the Bulldogs. Turn around and try there by Zaya Van. Comes up empty, and Favor Widozi with the rebound. A look at the starting lineup for Sam Purcell's Bulldogs. Widozi has been excellent. Madison Francis with 4 double-doubles on the year. Prater, Crisp, and McFall. This is Crisp, a little strong on that one. Keep an eye on the rebounding. These are the two best rebounding teams in the SEC. They're both in the top 7 nationally.
Yeah, it'll be really fun to watch the glass at both ends of the floor here today. Obviously, it's important in any game, particularly important here this afternoon.
There's a whistle and a foul off the ball called by the baseline official Kamoya Pugh. Here's that rebounding number. Those are national ranks, not SEC ranks, national ranks. Peyton Verhulst triggers no good. Chasing down the rebound comes Chandler Prater. Graduate transfer. Pull up and pop. Does not drop. Rebound chased down by Francis, though. Reset here for the Bulldogs. Prater tries again. That one's home for the first deuce of the day.
Yeah, Prater really having an excellent year. You can watch her in her career. She's terrific in mid-range. She got 2 looks there on that last possession.
That is block number 46 for Madison Francis on the year. The Sooners starting 5. Chavez, Verhulst, Williams, and Beers. Well, they're all past McDonald's All-Americans on this Oklahoma team. Williams and Chavez both signing with the Sooners. And Beers and Verhulst transferred in. And Zaya Van having an excellent sophomore season. Oklahoma has that roster that is both old and youthful and very, very good. There's Van, who's only a sophomore, and Chavez, the freshman in this starting lineup. They're attempting to pick Verhulst right now. Looks like maybe a contact Brendan situation. There's Brittany Beaver. There you see the Oklahoma trainer is assisting her. And Oklahoma wants to stop play, but referee Joe Vasili is saying, no, let's keep going. So Oklahoma will have to substitute early and bring Kaya Smith in here, Brendan.
And Smith has been terrific. And Oklahoma and Jenny Bronchek goes to that bench. There's no drop-off. And it's interesting, particularly on the defensive end. They may even get better there when she substitutes.
15 to shoot off the reset here. Williams up strong, and she ties the game.
A tough finish right there from Williams.
Third season at Oklahoma. Career highs in scoring, rebounding, assists, and steals for Sahara Williams.
Well, it's interesting. She's up 3.5 boards a game and only playing 2 minutes more than she was a year ago. So her production is off the charts on the boards.
McFall in and out with that 3. And there's Kaya Smith, who just checked in, claiming the rebound. Smith, end to end for two. Man, she has improved this year.
Well, right at the length of Mississippi State right there. This game is going to have a lot of possessions, Chad. I mean, it's going to be fast, up and down. Ball security, along with that rebounding we've talked about, is going to be at a premium here today.
They continue to attend to Peyton Verhulst over on the sideline. That one's short from Wade Dozie. And Chavez scoots the other way. She'll step back and fire. Rebound contested. Boy, this is going to be fun to watch all day. The battle on the boards. McFall got that one. Smith a hand out in the passing lane. Mississippi State averaging 82.5 points per game, 6th most in the SEC. 10 to shoot for Prater. Crashes into Beers. Can't get a shot up. Takes it anyway. But Beers has the rebound.
Now, right there is an example of what Oklahoma's going to have to do today. A lot of really important one-on-one containment assignments, individual defense. Something that Jenny Peronchek talked really at length with us today. It's important with the athleticism of Mississippi State to have containment out front.
Jenny Peronchek, 4 seasons in Norman, 4 NCAA appearances, won a couple of Big 12 titles on the way out the door, and went to the Sweet 16 last year. Really likes the shape of this roster, Brendan. They've been able to, as you talked about, get a lot of playing time for inexperienced players through non-conference play, and they're a deep team.
A lot of depth, a lot more length with this ball club. Athleticism, and it helps with versatility, we think mostly on the offensive end, but defensively, it's allowed Oklahoma to be able to do multiple things.
Chavez tried to dribble it behind the back, but lost it. 3-on-1 Bulldogs. Francis attacks Beers, who got a piece of that one. Claiming the miss. Prater stripped by Williams. Williams feisty defensively. Zaya Van, nobody cut her off, and she puts it in the hole.
Well, Beers did a great job that last possession, Chad, just using her size, walling up, not taking the bait on the shot fake right there. Done a much better job this season of staying out of foul trouble. Important, obviously, for her to be out there at all times.
6 straight for the Sooners. Francis can't cut it. Bulldogs have missed 7 straight from the field. Oklahoma number 2 in the country in field goal defense. Verhulst is back in, but misses that one, and Crisp has the rebound. About a 3 here by Prater that's off the mark. And Williams had position. She was fouled over the back. Both teams struggling from the 3 line so far. Combined 0 for 9 from downtown.
Yeah, I think in particular Mississippi State, with the way Oklahoma pushes it, have to be cognizant of quick shots in the half court, as you see Sam Purcell.
Got the most wins through 4 seasons of any coach in Mississippi State history. Really likes his roster. They reshaped it. 9 new players, 6 out of the portal. Said we hit the lottery out of the transfer portal.
Yeah, he has a tremendous group. I mean, they're connected. They get along, play for each other, and they play for a coach who's got tremendous energy. We had fun visiting with him before the game. I think you were about ready to run through a wall by the time you talked to Coach Purcell.
Listen, I came running down the tunnel ready to dunk the basketball like Madison Francis has done in the past. You see the wraparound there, the offensive foul against Wade Dozie.
Yeah, no question right there. Got that left arm, that left elbow hooking. But yeah, he really loves this team, and you could tell, and that came out in our conversation. They got tremendous balance offensively. They have some toughness to them, and obviously very athletic. And I think they're just continuing to get better and better. They got a couple of young players that continue to improve.
Beautiful ball movement. Smith feeds Stewart for 2, and an 8-0 Oklahoma run. Here's that defense, Brendan. You talked about it in the open. We're halfway through the quarter. Mississippi State's got 2 points.
Yeah, and what's interesting is when she goes to the bench, Jenny Peronchek, they're very youthful. I mean, they're young, underclassmen. And so it's more impressive that you have these young players who are willing and love to defend.
Verhulst, good defense, and then the rebound. Chavez, deep 3. Not quite enough. And here's Chandler Prater scampering back the other way. Bangs her way down the lane. Smith blocked it, but a foul call. So a couple of free throws coming here for Chandler Prater. 8-0 run for the Sooners, but they're doing it with defense. Sooners lead by 6, and it's been Zaya Van. Beautiful passing. Oklahoma shares it as well as any team in the country. You see it right there, the 2 by Van.
People yet, and they will as you get into SEC play, realize how good they are defensively. And as you well know, and I know, Sam Purcell knows, you get into league play, you get into more grinders, meaning late game situations where it's a 1-2 possession game with 4 or 5 minutes left, and it comes down to stops and ball security. You know, Oklahoma is well equipped, I believe, to win in lots of different ways. It doesn't have to be just fast paced.
And that was the first thing that Sam Purcell said about Oklahoma. They don't get enough credit for their defense. As you see, the 2 free throws by Chandler Prater, 87% foul shooter. That stops an 8-0 Oklahoma run.
You certainly say the same thing about Mississippi State. I mean, they're athletic. We talked about the toughness with which they play. They rebound it well.
Van tried to pick the pocket of Sinai King, who's checked in. Bulldogs try to make the Sooners pay for a little bit of a gamble, but Lampley can't hit the floater. Saves it right to Oklahoma's Kai Smith. Verhulst finding a seam to the bucket and rims that one home.
Boy, great job right there. Driving by Verhulst. Just ran off the line right there. Quick read, good decision. Oklahoma has those 3 freshmen, Chad, that obviously play a very integral part, but 7 returners, and you cannot substitute experience for someone like Verhulst.
Crisp, a little strong. She tried to double clutch that shot a little bit. Here comes Chavez in full attack mode all the way to the bucket, and that takes a friendly bounce. First field goal for the super talented freshman, Aaliyah Chavez.
Yeah, Mississippi State's gotten a couple of looks right at the rim, have not been able to convert.
Verhulst swats that one. Could not quite save it from going out of bounds, but Oklahoma's pace, and I say not just offensively, but defensively, they have to be ready for it.
Yeah, they can really extend with their length. Their Verhulst right there gets the angle on the young freshman and Lampley. And it's tough to help off the drivers of Oklahoma because they can shoot it from multiple positions, and right there Chavez able to get all the way to the rim in transition. That's the second time Oklahoma, it was Van earlier in transition where Mississippi State was essentially back and had the paint protected but did not stop the ball up the floor.
Mississippi State now 1 of 15 from the field, and they shoot nearly 50% as a team. Chavez, no. And a secure rebound there by Wadozie. Bulldogs look to run off the miss. That pass too tall, though, for Richardson. Taken away by Beers. Verhulst keeps it in her left hand, absorbs contact, and finishes anyway.
The officials are letting them play a little bit. Beers might have pushed down here on this end defensively, and right there, obviously, some contact, but Verhulst, again, strong move. Great job of being able to absorb the contact.
Oklahoma's up a dozen, and Reagan Beers hasn't even scored. That's how deep this team is. And a missed runner there by Richardson, but a late whistle and a foul call.
I see right there, I think Beers got away with one, little forearm, but nonetheless, Oklahoma, who does such a tremendous job of advancing the ball up the floor with the pass. And that is 1 through 5. They clear the glass, turnover, what have you. Eyes are up, advancing the ball, including at Beers.
First one is good by Richardson. She's a senior from Douglasville, Georgia, and she's at her 3rd SEC stop. Spent 22, 23 at Auburn. Last 2 seasons at Ole Miss, all in the SEC, so she knows how difficult this league is.
Yeah, and she's a good piece. I mean, obviously gives them added size and depth off the bench. In a game like today, when you're going against Reagan Beers, she becomes that much more important for Mississippi State.
There's Beers, really her first post-up of the day, unsuccessful. And the rebound plucked by Richardson. Outlet pass thrown away, though, to Verhulst. Chavez splits 2 and shoots 2. She was fouled on her way up. Chavez, excellent foul shooter, just 1 of 7 from the field today. She is a very teammate-driven player. Wants to have her teammates involved. Just as Jenny Baranczyk describes, an incredible person. Shows up every day ready to work, and there's a lot about Aaliyah Chavez. Social media, the presence that she is with younger players and helping develop grade school and middle school kids. But she just loves ball, loves to play it.
Well, she's great at it. And the scary thing for SEC opponents is she has a lot of room to get better in decision making. Obviously, she'll continue to get more physical, become more of a physical guard out front as she matures and develops.
Tough shot there as McFall banged into Beers, but there to clean it up is Favor Wadozie.
Well, Wadozie as good as anybody in the country on the offensive glass.
Williams cashes in as Oklahoma sprints the other way after a made basket.
Yeah, I think sometimes when you play Oklahoma, it takes a few minutes to settle into the game and appreciate how fast they play. You mentioned that was a quick bucket off a make. Again, Oklahoma pushes it so well.
Didn't look like Chris was ready for the pass, but she got the shot away anyway. And Reagan Beers collects her 3rd rebound. Here's Van. And a double dribble call. Zy Van thought that a Bulldog maybe touched it, but she gets whistled for the 2nd Oklahoma turnover of the day.
Yeah, Mississippi State's got to continue, Chad, just to kind of hang tough. Down 10 here in the first quarter, but they've been getting looks at the rim. That last possession, Chris missed the lay-in. Got to continue to look, get downhill, attack that paint. Eventually, you're going to benefit from it.
This is Sanaya King who's in there, transfer from Howard. Had a preseason ankle injury, missed the first 3 games, but she's rounding into form coming off the bench for Sam Purcell. McFall cut off. Lampley with 5 to shoot. Tough off-balance look, and Beers up to grab another rebound. You do not get much on the offensive glass against Oklahoma. Chavez sticks her first 3 of the afternoon, and the Oklahoma lead goes to 13. That'll do it for the opening quarter. It's been Oklahoma's defense, Brendan. Mississippi State is just 2 of 19 from the field, and we know Jenny Baranczyk's team can score it.
Well, the 2 biggest reasons that Oklahoma can score consistently. Aaliyah Chavez, watch that. Way to read the defender. Little touch pass from Reagan Beers. Oklahoma extends their lead up 13.
1 period of play today.
Yeah, and Mississippi State's been great all year. And the reason they're good is they're terrific on the boards, they're physical, and they have rim protection. They average almost 6 blocks a game as a team, but as you're alluding to, a little bit different opponent today, and certainly an elite player with size in Reagan Beers. And as we watch that first quarter, you and I were talking during the commercial break, even if Beers is not involved in the play defensively, you can tell that teams are timid to drive it in there. And that goes back to her being a more sound, more intelligent positional defender this year. She's staying out of foul trouble. She's just an intimidating presence in that paint.
And she gets any rebound that's in her vicinity. That's catch radius in football. How about rebound radius for Reagan Beers? That's the 3rd Oklahoma turnover. And Sam Purcell said, look, we're not going to back down. We've got nothing to lose in a game like this. They have tried to take it to Oklahoma so far.
Yeah, and they're sending players to the offensive glass. Multiple players, and they'll continue to do that as long as they're going to have some success there. But if you look again, Chad, they have not been able to convert inside when they've been able to get it there.
Love the hustle here. McFall missed that one. And Van not afraid to dive onto the floor. Richardson crashes on top of her, and the possession arrow says we're headed the other way. Zy Van, she's got a nose for the basketball, just like her sister Skylar always seemed to. She played as a Sooner, co-Big 12 Player of the Year. during her time playing for Jenny Baranczyk was Skylar Van.
And if you watch she and Chavez play together, they really complement one another. And you got Chavez off the ball right now, and you can do that because you have a Zaya Van that also can make plays and decisions out front.
Chavez been short a couple of times on very long threes. And Richardson has another rebound. Richardson providing some valuable minutes off the bench for the Bulldogs. Here she is. Either team on the board as of yet in the second period. Widosi one-on-one against Beers. And again, that length of Beers impacts you. Sahara Williams charges the other way. Van triggers. Rims in. Touched just about every part of the bucket and then fell. Zaya Van, 7 points. That's her first made three. Oklahoma's got the clamps on defensively. Widosi tried to screen for Richardson. Williams won't let her shake free, but she knocked it down anyway. That's a big bucket.
Boy, desperately needed. Richardson right there, able to get deep enough in that paint. Nice soft touch.
Chavez, speaking of soft touch, delicate stroke for the freshman. She's got 7.
When you watch her play, she's just constantly in attack mode.
Van steals the inbound, and Williams tried to shovel it up. Padding the stats here. She'll go to the foul line. Let's see, that was 2 field goals, 2 rebounds, and now 2 free throws for Sahara Williams. Did I get it right?
It's a good thing you're not doing radio. Been a lot to communicate right there. And these are the type of plays, Chad, that Zaya Van makes. We talked about this young group being willing defenders, and not only willing, but great at it. Van, two-way player, heads up right there, but she's just a sophomore. You know, it feels like she's been here a lot longer because the moment she stepped on campus, she's made an immediate impact. But you watch her over the last 8-10 games, she's continuing to get better and better at both ends of the floor, playing with tremendous confidence.
You know, and indicative of what you're talking about, she played, Mississippi State won the game between these two teams down in Starkville last year. Zaya Van only played 4 minutes in that game. It was a season to watch and learn the soft landing spot, you know, with 5 seniors on that team, but now she's right in the middle of it for the Sooners. And Smith a near steal. Widosi takes it herself. Smith the rebound. Baseball pass. Beers runs and scores. What a play. Tough runner down on the baseline that rimmed out for McFall. And that's out of bounds. They say Francis knocked it out of bounds.
Chad, this is good all the way around. An unbelievable pass. This is the only place that Smith could put it. It was in stride while Beers is running out of real estate right there. But what you saw from Beers is one of the things that makes her special, the hands. I mean, that was almost like a middle infielder receiving that with soft hands and then able in rhythm with her mobility to finish.
Verhulst swatted the second block by Francis, who has 47 of those on the year. Bulldogs looking for any kind of rhythm on offense.
Yeah,
Awafane.
Look at that defense from Oklahoma. That was one of the few times in recent possessions as McFall's able to get an angle. But they've done a terrific job, the Sooners, of just keeping things in front. The individual one-on-one containment that Jenny Baranczyk spoke to us about this morning.
We'll get a blocking foul there. Fane trying to stay in front of Van. First foul on Fane. 2 against the Bulldogs here in the period. And Oklahoma will reinsert Sahara Williams and bring in another one of their talented freshmen right there, Keziah Lofton.
There's some terrific young players in this game today.
Sahara Williams feeds one of those young players, freshman Brooklyn Stewart, but she missed it. Williams. And a good tough rebound by Widosi in there. Crisp, a little bit of breathing room, was able to double clutch that one in.
Well, and I'm telling you, Mississippi State will probably look to attack the paint more aggressively and confidently.
Letting them play here, as you said, here in this first half. That's knocked out of bounds.
Yeah, and here's the reason, Chad. Reagan Beers is over on the bench getting a rest. You got that under 5 media timeout coming up. This right here. This is more Mississippi State-esque. It's crisp with the drive, good finish. Coming off that really good game against Auburn on the first. 13 of her 17 were in the second half.
Smith turns it over. Here comes Fane. Crisp, deep three. That one is down. Trayana Crisp's a 41% three-point shooter, and that's her 25th of the year. Timeout on the floor. 7 straight points for the Bulldogs.
7-0 run, little mini run, and much needed for Mississippi State. 19-point lead cut to 12, and Crisp right in the middle of it. Crisp is a 30% career three-point shooter in her stops at Arizona State and North Carolina. She's shooting 41% this season. And you can see that on paper from multiple players from the Mississippi State team. And the reason is, I mean, they're really connected. I mean, they work hard at it. Obviously, put the work in to improve shooting, but they share it well. And for the most part, take really good threes, and Crisp has really shot it and played well this year.
Great ball movement and a good left-handed look for Beers. That stops a 7-0 Bulldogs run.
Yeah. And what stopped Jenny Peronchek from continuing to put Beers on the bench was that 7-0 run. Calls that timeout and goes right to her where she's her greatest in the paint.
There's the other thing, impacting another shot and then rebounding. Beautiful feed, Smith to Beers for 2 more.
Well, that's a great burst right there by Smith. I mean, she drove to draw the help. Beers able to catch, lay it in rhythm.
Crisp, not this time. What a one-armed rebound by Francis, tied up at a foul call against Sahara Williams. Madison Francis, what a talented freshman she is.
Well, out of the double team, you get high-low. And Reagan Beers has you that deep in the lane, you might as well forget about it. And there's that nice burst we just saw from Smith. Smith, another one of those returnees that's just a sophomore, like Zaya Van, who has made that jump from freshman to sophomore year. And she gives him a lift, certainly defensively at 6'1". She's got great versatility there on that end of the floor, Chad. 5 double-figure scoring games for Smith off the bench, but those have come in the last 9 games. So she's coming on as a player as we speak.
1 of 2 for Francis at the line, her first point of the afternoon. It's been tough to put them on the board for Mississippi State so far. Williams looking for some help. Beautiful baseline cut, finding Keziah Lofton for 2.
And you can put Williams in that spot. You can face her up 15, 17 feet and let her go make a play. Similarly, I would say to what Maddie Williams was. Not the scorer that Williams was, but you can put her faced up from that distance and good things happen.
Diving through the back door comes McFall for 2.
Speaking of great plays right there, McFall, hard cut. Took her defender high up the floor. That created the space.
Chavez just a little breathing room. Missed the shot, though. And rebound picked up by Wadosi. Feels like the Bulldogs have found a little bit of footing here on the offensive end, Brendan. Air ball there by Francis out of the corner, right over to Beers.
Well, they got in a little offensive rhythm when Beers was over there on the bench. And obviously, when that ball goes in the basket, it certainly puts a little hop in your step, a little more confidence.
No look pass into Beers. Won't drop, but she'll shoot a pair. Chavez loves to drop dimes.
Last couple of baskets here. Here's the face-up. We just talked about from Oklahoma with Williams making a play on the cut. Boy, that's a great play right there. Good recognition from McFall to go back door there in an easy basket, which have been hard to come by for Mississippi State here in the first half.
Beers drops down that foul shot. Improved free throw shooter this year. Upwards of 75 to 80% at the line for Reagan Beers. And you see the double-double numbers. 11 of them so far. She's got 4 straight. And she has 7 20-point double-doubles this year. 3 minutes to go in the half. Oklahoma led by 19 at one stage. The advantage 16 currently. Quick three hoisted out of the corner. Mississippi State just 1 of 12 from the 3 line. Beers stripped from behind by Prater.
Yeah, good awareness right there, rotating over. Prater, she's not done that. That was another easy 2 for Beers.
Lampley stripped. There's Kaya Smith. One-on-one against Crisp. Bangs into Crisp and earns 2 free throws.
Well,
let's hope Crisp is okay. Sorry, Brendan.
Yeah, sorry about that, Chad. Getting up right there. That's tremendous defense by Smith on that other end. Watch this right there. This is just one-on-one contagion. See her beat her to the spot. That strong hand going left takes that away. Steal, and great job of creating contact and transition. Again, Oklahoma is so sound, at least has been today in the half court defensively, keeping everything in front. You can only have success if you're Mississippi State in the half court. You have to move it. You have to move it early, and it has to be crisp. You look at the last couple of possessions, Prater takes a quick 3 without much zest to the offense, and then right there you're trying to tack off the bounce with no ball movement. And with this Oklahoma defense, the way they contain out front, it just won't work. You got to go back to some ball movement in the half court, then look to tack later in the possession.
Smith is back out. What a difference maker she has been. You saw her numbers. Scoring's up about 5 per game. And Jenny Baranczyk described it as a cool confidence Kaya Smith has developed. Bulldogs are going to take a timeout here. 30-second timeout as they've tried to hang within striking distance. As you said, that 7-0 run that Sam Purcell's team had came with Reagan Beers on the bench for Oklahoma. Now as Beers has come back in, the lead is back out to 18. So a little adjustment with about 2:20 to play. You can see the fire as Mississippi State tries to hang in it.
Yeah, and I love the timeout because this is a crucial stretch for Mississippi State. Obviously, 2:24 left before the half closes. If they have, let's just say it's a mini run, Chad, 8-2, 9-3, 9-2, whatever, a couple of things happen. Obviously, you dip into the lead, which is important. You don't want to be down 20-plus at halftime on the road against Oklahoma, but it also gives you some momentum and good feelings going to that locker room. So I love the timeout. Just needs them to execute at both ends of the floor down the stretch here.
Miss out of the timeout. Beautifully saved there by Zy Van. Chavez unguarded for 3. You can't give her that look. She'll make you pay. Leah Chavez has the Sooners up 21. Crisp can't counter. And Beatrice Culleton plucks a one-handed rebound. That one was actually tipped by Fane, so it'll stay here as Chavez tried a little mustard on that one.
Yeah, obviously Chavez is going to have the ball in her hands a lot, and that's good coaching if you put it in her hands. But notice the last few games. If you've watched her play, she's doing more things away from the ball offensively. Right there was case in point, even though it was just in transition.
Prater scrapes up the miss. Oklahoma, a little 6-0 run, and they force a turnover. Williams, they hit ahead to Van, who stole it and scores it.
Well, there's that defense again. Prater trying to split defenders, turns it over. Mississippi State has done a better job taking care of it here as of late, but Oklahoma, when you turn it over, it's a live ball turnover. They'll turn it into points fast.
6 steals for Oklahoma here in this opening half. They're on lockdown on the boards. 30 rebounds. I mean, Mississippi State's a good rebounding team, Brendan, but Oklahoma is plus 10 on the boards.
Well, here's the steal. Again, trying to trying to drive through length right there. There's Van, much like Smith did earlier, steals, takes it herself, and finishes.
Final minute of the opening half. Largest lead for Oklahoma. Richardson had it batted away, trying to get a backdoor cut. It'll stay right here with 11 on the shot clock for the Bulldogs.
We talked about the rebounding, Chad, and that defensive end of the floor has been outstanding. Mississippi State shooting 19%.
They shoot 50% as a team. Tough looks like that one from Crisp, but she's fouled by Culleton. So 2 free throws here for Triana Crisp.
Sinners foul for 0. Beatrice Culleton, first personal, team number 2.
And Crisp, good job right there. If you're going to drive it with strength. Any kind of angle. Chad, sometimes even when you drive it, if you have an angle, even if you get fouled, and you're not strong with it, the officials will not give you the benefit of the doubt. But if you're
got to sell it, is what you're saying.
Well, you just got to go with strength, and that's what Crisp did right there. Good, strong drive, had an angle, used her body there to get herself to the foul line.
Sam Purcell called Crisp the head of the snake. She mentioned the smooth operator. Missed the Samford game, was a little under the weather, but bounced back to score 17 in that SEC opening win over Auburn. Back in comes Wedozie. Wedozie, 2 points, 6 rebounds in the first half. And Francis has picked up 3 fouls. That's the reason she remains over on Purcell's bench. Trying to nurse through this first half. Not much you can do with Beers when she gets that deep.
And if we're being honest, Wedozie did a pretty good job not allowing herself to get buried underneath the rim. She had Beers shoved out 6 or 8 feet. The problem is she's got that in her repertoire as well.
9 points and 7 rebounds for Reagan Beers in this first half. Well on her way to a 5th straight double-double. And Oklahoma's going to have the final look if they so choose. Brendan, you're so right on these defensive numbers. 19% from the field for Mississippi State. 1 of 15 from the 3-line. Chavez angles to the bucket. Score it! And a foul call.
Well, one of the things Oklahoma is doing more of this year with Beers, they're pulling her away from the basket, using her mobility and skill set out front. Obviously a big target, and you can start offense through her at that high post area. We've seen it a couple times today already where Chavez and Beers have played off of one another on the offensive end.
15 first half points for Aaliyah Chavez. And she has helped Oklahoma to a 26-point advantage at the break at the Lloyd Noble Center. 6 games of 20-plus points for the National Gatorade High School Player of the Year last year. And Oklahoma threatening to make it a runaway at the break at the Lloyd Noble Center. Your halftime show is coming up next on SEC Network.
Chavez in transition, and that's only Oklahoma's second three-point make of the game. So I'm sure we'll continue to talk about it the second half. Look, Oklahoma is talented, and there's a lot of great teams in the country, a lot of great teams in the SEC. If they go to a Final Four or win an SEC title, it will be because of their defense, not because of their offense.
See the first half numbers. Oklahoma 14 assists on their 19 made field goals in that first half. Aaliyah Chavez, 2 of 7 from three-point range. She's the only Sooner to make a 3. As you said, Oklahoma has not gotten going from the three-point line here today. So the other side for Sam Purcell and Mississippi State, what must they do in half number 2 if they want to have any chance to get back into this?
Well, they need to play aggressively and confidently, much like he coaches. Mississippi State's a good ball club. If you look back to the first handful of minutes, they had shots at the rim. They did not convert. and really held Oklahoma in check offensively for quite some time. But you're not going to hold them down the entire game. Even good defenses aren't going to do that. So I think they've got to be able to convert some of those bunnies, hit some shots early, continue to battle, and then see what happens. And if you're Mississippi State, you got to keep it in perspective. I mean, you are on the road in this league against one of the elite teams in the country. Now, press the reset button and try to give Oklahoma everything they want here in this second half.
Richardson starts the second half for the Bulldogs. That's because the super freshman Madison Francis picked up 3 fouls in the first half, so she has to remain over on the bench for a while. Wade Dozie stripped by Zia Vann. 7 Oklahoma steals. Vann will take it herself. Beg your pardon, Francis is going to start half number 2. My mistake. There she is with the rebound. But lost it, and Verhulst able to skip it over to Beers. Beers deep in the post. Zia Vann, a 3 is off the mark. Good first half for Treyana Crisp. Inside, unable to convert it though. Richardson back up.
I tell you what, just Beers' presence inside, speaking of defense, really affects the opposition, makes them timid. And you go back again defensively in the first half. Oklahoma only had 1 blocked shot, but how many shots were hesitant from Mississippi State or altered just because of the presence of Beers?
Always in the back of your mind. Francis spins right into Beers and swishes one home anyway.
That's how you do it. You're going to get in there, go right at the chin of Beers. That's a terrific finish by Francis.
That's a 2 from Beers, and she splashes that home. Brendan, if she starts making those shots on a regular basis, how in the world would you guard her? Yeah, your silence says everything.
Well, I was just thinking that if I had to choose, I would rather her take those versus have me buried deep into the lane.
Chavez got a hand in to poke it away from McFall, and here comes Vann. Williams ahead of the pack. Crisp caught up with her. There's Zia Vann again.
Well, again, see that last possession, Chad, is Verhulst hits a 3, which is a good sign, by the way. But that defense by Chavez, again, one-on-one containment, keep in front, you force a turnover.
Oklahoma already a couple of steals in this second half. 9 for the game. The lead is out to 31. McFall, just a little screen there from Wadozie, but she couldn't hit it. And there's Sahara Williams. Man, she's physical. Nobody guards her. She says, I know what to do with this. Coast to coast. Williams has 10 and 8 rebounds.
And you saw that some in the first half. Mississippi State will sprint back, doing a good job of finding shooters in transition. At some point, you got to communicate, get matched up, and stop the ball. It's way too easy for Oklahoma.
7 straight Sooner points. Lead is 33. Richardson foul by Vann. That'll be 2 on Zia Vann.
Oklahoma, if you're Jenny Baranczyk, you're telling your team at halftime, come out with the same intensity defensively. You saw from Chavez right there. And there's Peyton Verhulst knocking down the 3. And that's a good sign. Look, Verhulst can shoot it. She has not shot it great as of late. And she was always solid and a very important piece to Oklahoma. But what's going to happen when she starts going back to knocking down shots consistently?
Trouble for opposing defenses. Wadozie could not quite corral that off the bounce. It's out of bounds. Oklahoma has now gone, and we're like 3.5 minutes in, and they've subbed already to this young, tenacious defensive group. Courtney Stewart in there. Isaiah Lofton is in there. Kai Smith. There's Sahara Williams with the left hand.
And Jenny Baranczyk told us today, you know, when I asked about Williams, I said, tell me what has made her so good this year. And she talked about her ability to take what the defense gives, meaning if opportunities to drive it. If it's to drive to create help, kick to a teammate, do that. Just has a great feel and understanding of how to make plays.
Great teammate as well, has aided these young players in their quick development. McFall the steal, unable to convert it though. And that's the thing about Oklahoma. You miss, they are right back after it. Kaya Smith draws the foul and one. This player is a blossoming star for the Sooners.
Well, again, when Crisp is there, and once you know that basket is secure, one of your teammates defensively protects the basket, the other stops the ball. Doesn't happen quick enough there. Smith just does a great job continuing to flow to the basket, Chad. And yeah, there's so many good pieces to this Oklahoma team. Offensively, obviously, Chavez and Beers up front, but they are way, way more than those two.
Oklahoma up 38, 14-2 to start the second half, and in the midst of a 12-0 run. Wedozzi stripped by Lofton, but they'll get her for the reach-in. It's two free throws coming here for Favor Wedozzi.
Sooners foul number 22, Lofton.
It's the first foul on Lofton. Bulldogs trying to stop this 12-0 Oklahoma run. Wedozzi, what a great story she is. She's from Nigeria. And there's a university in Japan that takes Nigerian players, brings them in, and develops them. She wound up there. This is her first year at Mississippi State after 2 seasons at that university in Japan. And Sam Purcell said, we were just blessed to get her. Has a high motor, elite type of motor.
She's really good. Obviously, her probably most special asset is the offensive glass. But her transition to this level of play, I think, is what's most impressive.
Verhulst skips to the rim, and she'll shoot a pair.
And also, going back to Wedozzi, Chad, she's so good on the offensive. I mean, really one of the elites on that end. Over 4.5 offensive rebounds per game on average. Oklahoma's done a really nice job. I mean, she's battled in there, and she's going to get her 10+ boards today. But on the offensive end, in terms of her productivity and able to leave her area, go get it, and the putbacks, that has not been available to her today against Oklahoma.
1 of 2 for Peyton Verhulst. She has 8 points this afternoon. Field goal percentages. Oklahoma 51%. Mississippi State 18%. Crisp lines up a 3. Verhulst always looking to advance the ball. This is Brooklyn Stewart to the left hand. Got her own miss. Beers with the foul line jumper is off. There's Verhulst again. Blocked from behind and out of bounds by Francis. Block number 3 for her. As we reach the timeout, Oklahoma in control. They've outscored Mississippi State 15-4 since halftime. It's all Sooners in Norman right now.
Under control, like Oklahoma did at half, up 26, is to maybe relax a little bit. But Oklahoma's come out the second half and continue to get stops. And sometimes you're concerned as a coach defensively because the defense is now at the other end of the floor. So that they're not in front of you where you can call out all the sets or, encourage your team, contain here, weak side help. They can't hear you. And so you're concerned about that. But this is a mature team, even though they're young in a lot of spots. And they're showing it by the way they've come out the second half defensively.
Stewart out-hustles everyone for that one. Lofton on the attack. And the freshman will shoot a couple. That's a freshman and a freshman right there. Stewart and Lofton.
Bulldogs foul number 1. Tonight, King for 4 personal, team number 3.
Foul is number 4 on King. So she's got 4. Francis and Crisp each have 3 for Mississippi State. And here's Keziah Lofton. Lefty drops that one. Super coachable, high motor. One of the top 2 players in Oklahoma coming out of high school. Bethany High School won a couple of state titles there. Jenny Baranchek said teammates have joked that Keziah is your favorite. And she said coaches can't have favorites, can they?
Well, I know this. It seems that most coaches have somebody they like to get on more than others.
And in a way, doesn't that make them the favorite?
Yeah, evidently that's not Keziah.
This is Jayla Lampley off the mark. Beers secures another one. She's now at 11 points, 8 rebounds. We're on triple-double watch with Sahara Williams today, by the way. Stewart goes to work in the post. Beers wrestles it away.
Yeah, and something Jenny Baranchek has done actually for the last several minutes, Chad. She's had those Stewarts and Beers in there together, and they've inverted those two. So essentially, you have 2 bigs, obviously different types. Brooklyn Stewart, younger, but athletic, kind of gives you a different look. But inverted meaning has brought Beers out on the perimeter. That again goes back to the mobility that she has, versatility, more so this year. And they've gotten some high-low action, and they've tried to really get it to Stewart in there. They feel like they've got a size advantage matchup opportunity.
Francis rebounds as Beers misses a pier. There's Kaya Smith. Nice feed to Lofton, running for 2 more. Oklahoma opening it up. Kaya Smith now 3 steals and 7 points off the bench. There's Carissa Richardson attacking, sent back at her by Beers, but a foul call. That'll be the second foul on Reagan Beers.
Yeah, here's again the defense of Oklahoma picking up full right there. Mississippi State not prepared necessarily for it. 11th turnover by Mississippi State, but more importantly, 10 of those 11 have been live ball.
And that's resulted in almost 20 points off turnovers for the Sooners today. Sam Purcell just want his team to find some footing here to close out this third, maybe do something in the fourth.
Well, first of all, Sam Purcell, they're going to be just fine. Oklahoma's way good. And I'm obviously not the first person to see that or say it. They score a basket right there. But sometimes, too, types of matchups cannot be favorable. And Oklahoma, honestly, can negate and neutralize what Mississippi State is great at. And that, mostly what I'm alluding to, is board play, particularly on the offensive glass, where Mississippi State has dominated virtually everybody all season long in the paint.
And Oklahoma, obviously, with Beers, Stewart, they excel inside that painted area. You see the Sooners lead the country in rebound, better than 52 per game. And yes, they play a more up-tempo type of style, which results in more shots. So you're going to have a few more rebounds. But they are secure. You do not get much on the offensive glass against this Oklahoma team here. Here's Brooklyn Stewart to the free throw line. Freshman out of Colorado Springs, Pine Creek High School. We talked about playing her alongside Reagan Beers a little bit more. Resetting, I think, a foul over at the scorer's table. Is got Tim Daly over there talking just to make sure who the foul is against.
Bulldogs foul number 40, Madison Francis, her fourth
So it's number 4 on Francis.
Team foul number 5.
And that's 5 against the Bulldogs in the period. So Stewart for a pair.
Yeah, it's been rough for Francis. First SEC road game. Battled foul trouble today. And when you're in foul trouble, especially a player as talented as she is, that kind of needs to be free. I mean, you can't get into any rhythm. But I would not worry about Madison Francis moving forward. Sometimes, Chet, you have to go through things. Even if you're talented and way capable and elite even, you have to go through some things first before you can make the next step or progress. And today for her, you know, going on the road against a Final Four caliber type team.
With an All-American player inside. And Beers, fresh 5 on the floor for the Sooners, including Aaliyah Chavez, who has 15 points today to lead all scorers. And foul finds Destiny McFall at the line. She played against Oklahoma in the win for Mississippi State in Starkville last year. Had 10 points. She had a little different role for them a season ago. She was more of a true point guard. Now they've moved her off the ball a bit more.
Yeah, she's done well. She shot it great all year, 39%. And a better overall player. Just what she does even on the stat sheet will tell you that. 3-to-1 assist to turnover ratio, shooting it great.
Rare late shot clock situation here for the Sooners, who have more freshmen on the floor.
And kind of joke with Sam Purcell about McFall. She had those back-to-back 10-assist games at LaSalle and at home against Samford. I told him, I said, the most impressive thing about that probably was that was the pre-Christmas break game and the post-Christmas break game.
That's right.
Most players mentally are not there. She obviously was, and that says a lot about her.
And to be fair to the players, most broadcasters, I don't feel like they're there on that pre-holiday and post-holiday game. It's tough. Richardson cashes in. Marissa Richardson, the Douglasville, Georgia native. 3rd SEC stop for her, as we said. Under 2 minutes to go in the 3rd. Oklahoma has outscored Mississippi State 22-11 here in the 3rd to open it wide. 37-point advantage. Chavez short there. Zaya Van collecting. And that's off Van. Back to the Bulldogs. Jenny Baranchak can have so many different options. So many different lineups. This is Emma Tolan is out there right now, freshman from Ireland. Seen her first minutes of the day. Natalia Gray, speaking of freshmen, one of the 3 freshmen that Sam Purcell has on his roster. She misses that one. Chavez, unguarded. McFall working off a Richardson screen. Richardson wrestles the rebound away, but Zaya Van took it. Van right to the bucket.
I'm telling you, Zaya is smooth. Moves much better than her father, especially at his age now. No, like her facial expression doesn't change. It doesn't matter time, score, energy, the effort's there. I mean, really definitions. Look at that. I mean, that was effortless. Just stuck her hand in there, breaks the ball free, fluid, finishes right at the defender here. Zaya Van.
About 5 steals for Zaya Van. 10 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists for this sophomore guard. Richardson back to the line for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I love players that play and you wouldn't know if they were up 40 or down 40. And Van is that.
Solid game off the bench for Richardson. She has 9, and she'll be replaced by Sanaya King here for the final 38 seconds of the 3rd quarter. Oklahoma holding Mississippi State below 20% from the field today. 11 Sooner steals. Van and Chavez can't connect. That is turnover number 9. That's the other thing about Oklahoma. Turnovers much lower this year, about 4 fewer per game than last season.
Well, they basically have 3-point guards in their rotation, 3 lead guards. So that allows them to be able to play fast, make quick decisions, and still take care of it.
We're going to get the final look to close out the third. Crisp off a Wedozi screen. And we'll have to see if she got it away. It will not matter. Oklahoma comfortably out in front by 37. Looking for consecutive win number 13 and a 2-0 SEC start. Plenty of offense, but the defense has been the story of the day at the Lloyd Noble Center for the 8th-ranked team in the country. State, and as they have always done under Jenny Baranczyk, the Sooners can score with the best teams in the country. They're second nationally in scoring. This game right here, a microcosm of the season so far for this 8th-ranked Sooner squad.
Yeah, I really think so too. And again, if you go back to the first few minutes of the game, Oklahoma offensively, I mean, Mississippi State did a good job with limiting them in transition. They were defending well in the half court. Mississippi State just couldn't take advantage at that time, but eventually Oklahoma started turning Mississippi State over, forcing them to quick shots, and they were able to get out and run. And so that defense really established it, and they have not taken the foot off the gas since.
First bucket for Jalen Lampley, one of the 3 freshmen for the Bulldogs. And a second consecutive Oklahoma turnover. Here comes Lampley back the other way. Run McFall off the 3-point line. Francis will take one. And there is Sahara Williams with her 11th rebound. 12 points, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists for Sahara Williams. She'll take the 3. And Wedozi with the Mississippi State rebound. Wedozi, 4 points and 7 rebounds. Kind of a struggle offensively, but that's been the case for a lot of the Bulldogs. Williams sends Lampley to the foul line. So Lampley to get a pair.
Lampley, we talked about Francis getting a little bit of a example of what SEC play is like on the road. Talked about young players. All of us need to go through experiences so we know how to handle them the second time. But good to see Lampley continue to try to get downhill right there. Oklahoma's done a really good job, though, throughout this game, not allowing her to turn the corner.
We'll see Lampley, talented freshman. Indiana Gatorade Player of the Year back in 2024. Fishers, Indiana, where she played at Lawrence Central High School for her mom. Janan was a very good player herself.
Yeah, you grow up in a house like that. And basically, as you would imagine, growing up in gyms, right? You're going to have a high basketball IQ like Lampley does. You saw the last 4 games, she's averaging a little over 16. Starting to take and make the 3 a little bit more in that stretch. That'll obviously help that point total.
Brooklyn Stewart with the knockaway to Chavez. The Sooners re-attack. Chavez, the double clutch, couldn't finish it. Mississippi State, the only 3 points here in the 4th quarter so far. Francis has been saddled with foul trouble today. And she's only got 3 points after that miss. Zaya Van, coast to coast for 2 more. She's got 12 and 7 rebounds.
Yeah, it just kind of glides. Again, right there, able to flow to the rim. She's been able to make a pretty good living here this afternoon.
4 Oklahoma Sooners in double figures today. All 5 of their starters average double digits. Beautiful little athletic move by Francis, but a little off balance, couldn't complete it. Chavez stepped out of bounds. A dozen Oklahoma turnovers on the day. So this would be 13 straight wins for Jenny Baranczyk and the Sooners. Lone loss to UCLA. But their next 4 games, all against top 15 teams. Ole Miss, Kentucky, LSU, and South Carolina. That begins on Thursday with Ole Miss. Those teams have a combined record of 56-5 coming into the day. And how about Kentucky, what they've done so far? Kentucky was a winner again today after their win over LSU to start league play. Ty Van got her own miss, shovels it for Beers. Beers had it stripped, steps out. Look at Ty Van.
Yeah, everywhere. Again, it does not matter time in school where Van is going to continue to play at a high level.
Same expression, whether she's out here in the middle of an SEC game or back home playing with her sisters in the yard, she's got the same expression, and it's businesslike.
That had another run through right there.
Ball, first personal, team number 1.
Shuffle the deck here, and we've got a timeout on the floor. 6:35 to go. Oklahoma by 38. It's the 8th-ranked team in the country, set to move to 14-1 on the season.
You know, if Zaya Van gets one more rebound, obviously that's 10. That would be 3 Oklahoma players in double figures on the boards.
Yeah, they're plus 22 on the boards against the number 7 rebounding team in the country today.
And obviously, you said, hey, 3 Oklahoma players had 10 or more boards in a game. You go, okay, Beers with their size, but Williams under 6 foot, Zaya Van 5'9". And so this is part of Oklahoma's defense. Those guards get in there and get those defensive boards, and guess what? Because of their skill set, Chad, when they get those boards, Van can take it off the glass and lead a break. Williams can take it off the glass and lead a break, which helps Oklahoma play at that frenetic pace.
You mean like right here?
Boom.
And there she goes.
Thanks,
Rebound, run.
Making us look good.
You are the best analyst in the business.
Yeah.
They do it on command.
Yep.
Exactly what you're pointing out.
I call him the best analyst in the business for nothing. Yeah, here it is. I mean, 10th rebound. I mean, just smooth. A little push right there, splits defenders, continues to flow to the basket, and what a game, what an afternoon Zaya Van is having.
Can't complete that. Zaya Van is going to be her 2nd career double-double, and it's come in the last 3 games for her. 8-0 run for the Sooners as Lampley triggers. And there's rebound number 11 for Zaya Van. And another assist for her. Verhulst cashes in the baseline J. Yeah, you run out of adjectives to describe what Zaya Van is putting together here, in particular in the second half.
So many good things about that last play. You have the board, and I've talked about a lot. Oklahoma players have their eyes up. That's why they do such a tremendous job of advancing the ball up the floor, and it's so difficult to get back in transition defense against them.
Richardson trying to split a double team and lost it on the way up to Chavez. Chavez plows in and scores. Oh, friendly exchange there between Chavez and Chris, Brendan.
Yes, I saw that right there.
84-38 Sooners. Widozie lines up at 3 up top. And there's Brooklyn Stewart, the rebound, just 1 of 22 from the 3 line for Mississippi State today. A lot of that's the Oklahoma defense, but just hasn't been a good shooting day. And beautiful little screen and roll game there with Chavez to Beers.
Now, you're talking about a team in Mississippi State, Chad, that shoots 36% from 3 as a team. I mean, that's one of the things that Oklahoma's done such a great job of today. They did it against A&M, not only limiting three-point attempts, but also the makes.
That bucket by Richardson stops a 14-0 run by Oklahoma. And a timeout here by Mississippi State. We close out the final 4 minutes from the Lloyd Noble Center on SEC Network Plus when you return.
Back, you see 17 points, Chad, here this afternoon. And I said at the first half, this is a compliment to her. She has a lot of room to improve and grow. And she's great and talented now. I think her decision-making over time will improve. Obviously, physically, that's normal for young players to need development there. And eventually, Chad, she'll learn to have 17 points on 11-12 shots. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So more efficient. And she'll also continue to be a very good playmaker in decision. Just when to distribute, when to go score. So I'm curious and looking forward to watching her in grinders, late game SEC games, where it's a true possession game, and she is managing her ball club out front.
And that may very well come into play the next 4 games against those top 15 teams.
Exactly. In fact, I would guess that it will.
Beers back to the basket, left-handed for 2. 15 points, 11 rebounds, 5 straight double-doubles for Reagan Beers. And this Oklahoma team going to stay unbeaten in conference play. Look at this league. So loaded. Texas still unbeaten. Vanderbilt unbeaten with Michaela Blakes having a wonderful year. There goes Kaya Smith attacking for 2. Already some other scores today. Georgia bouncing back from their first loss. The Bulldogs beat Texas A&M today. South Carolina over Florida. And Kentucky, after their win over LSU, they back that up by taking down Missouri pretty comfortably today. But the big showdown tonight coming up 4 o'clock Central on ESPN, LSU and Vanderbilt. Brooklyn Stewart earns 2 free throws. She crashes hard, but looks to be okay. Yeah, we'll see how LSU bounces back from the loss and see if Vandy can stay unbeaten there at Memorial Gymnasium. That's 5 fouls on Francis. You talked about it, Brendan. Such bright days ahead for Madison Francis. Battled foul trouble. There were some early misses on field goal tries in this game for Mississippi State. They had some looks. And then when the misses happened, Oklahoma just started to pull away.
And this is all part of the process. You know, for any young player, Madison Francis, whoever. And it's, you know, obviously the speed of the game with her ability, that's not a problem. I mean, she's made an impact since day one. She has great feel. She's intuitive, particularly on that offensive end. I think part of what today was is not just playing a great Oklahoma team on the defensive end of the floor, but it's also getting used to the physical nature of SEC play. I mean, most physical athletic league, right? And so you have, that's another adjustment. And it, you know, bottom third SEC teams are going to be physical and athletic. And so you're transitioning from non-conference to this. And I think you'll see her make adjustments, learn to play through it better as time goes along.
Minute 30 to go. Oklahoma leading by 51. This is Emma Tolan, the freshman from Ireland. Brooklyn Stewart standing on the end line. We'll go back the other way. Young lineup here for the Sooners. You got 3 freshmen and a sophomore out there, along with the senior Beatrice Culleton.
Do you think Beatrice feels old out there? I mean, obviously she's a young person, but out there with that group.
It's such a culture builder. Beatrice Culleton out there with the youngsters. Mississippi State will host Tennessee coming up on Thursdays. They'll try to bounce back from this. Dozie can't convert as we touch 1 minute to go. And travel against Tolan. 5 Oklahoma Sooners in double figures. 3 double-doubles. Beers, Williams, and Van each have a double-double in this game. Sooners defense has had the clamps on once again. 2nd nationally in field goal percentage defense, and today holding Mississippi State to just 19% shooting.
Well, Chad, they put 2 halves together on the defensive end. That's what great to elite teams do. Well, you could look at any sport. Doesn't matter. I mean, the defensive end of the floor is what's going to ultimately carry. As good as Oklahoma is offensive, they're going to have days and nights where they don't shoot it great. And that may happen in that stretch upcoming for Oklahoma. See Mississippi State's tough schedule of their own right there.
They will have their next 4 against top 25 teams. Oklahoma 4 straight against top 15 clubs. Welcome to the SEC. And welcome to double figures for Kaya Smith. She's got 11 with LA in. Sooners the 2nd highest scoring team in the country, and they have eclipsed their season average of 94. Dozie. And Richardson fouled on that putback try, so a couple of free throws to close it out here. Ole Miss for Oklahoma. They handed Georgia its first loss. Cody McMahon had 24 the other day for Ole Miss. That's who will be here. You and I will call that one on SEC Network here in just a couple of days. Going to be a good one. Richardson going to be a nice piece for this team. She has a dozen. Her SEC experience will be super valuable as the Bulldogs pursue their 3rd NCAA tournament in 4 years.
Now, Mississippi State, you know, we've talked about it. Obviously, they're going to be fine. They're in good hands with Sam Purcell. Talented team that are going to give a lot of teams problems. And you're going to have stretches like this in this league. You got to have a short memory. Go back to the drawing board. But for Oklahoma, Chad, I mean, it was a complete performance at both ends of the floor. Oklahoma established themselves defensively from start to finish. And Gina Baranczyk continues to be pleased, I'm sure, with that defensive end of the floor.
2nd largest margin of victory in a conference game in the history of Oklahoma women's basketball. Gina Baranczyk's team has won now 13 games in a row, and most importantly, from their vantage point, they are 2-0 to start conference play. They'll remain unbeaten at the Lloyd Noble Center, with Ole Miss coming in on Thursday. Once again, Chavez 17 points to lead the way. She added 6 rebounds. Zaya Van, Sahara Williams with double-doubles as well. And here's a look at the upcoming schedule. Ole Miss, Kentucky, and then 2 top 5 teams in LSU and South Carolina. The Sooners will have 3 of those 4 games here inside the LNC. 95-47 the final as Oklahoma takes it today, and a 14-1